And this wasn't something that just happened. Her own mother arranged and approved the union.
Wow. Arrange. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a book that has definitely sparked a lot of conversation and maybe some uncomfortable thoughts. It's Yasmine Mohammed's Unveiled, Escaping Radical Islam and Challenging Liberalism. Now, you asked us to cover this one, and, well, it's pretty clear why. It's an incredible personal story, but it also levels some serious critiques at Western society. Our mission today is really to unpack that. What does her story and her argument mean for you?
Exactly. And to really get the punch of her critique, you have to understand where she's coming from. Her background is key. She was born in Canada. Her parents were Egyptian and Palestinian, but she was raised under a very, very strict interpretation of Islam.
How strict are we talking?
We're talking forced hijab at age 9, physical punishment sometimes for not memorizing the Quran perfectly. So just imagine that feeling, constantly caught between these really rigid demands at home and then stepping outside into, liberal Canadian society.
That sounds incredibly difficult. A real split existence.
Absolutely. And that deep dissonance, that conflict, eventually led her down the path to atheism.
And the personal story gets even more harrowing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The memoir talks about her marriage.
It does. She details being coerced into marrying an al-Qaeda operative, Issam Marzouk. And this wasn't something that just happened. Her own mother arranged and approved the union.
Wow. Arranged by her mother.
Yes. And she describes this period as just traumatic, intense emotional, psychological, and physical abuse before she managed to escape. And it seems like that escape, that liberation, was the catalyst for her activism.
So it wasn't just about getting out, it was about understanding why it happened and how things needed to change.
That's a great way to put it. She moves from her personal trauma to this much broader critique of society. And this is where it gets really fascinating and maybe controversial for some. She argues that Western liberals, often with the best intentions, pursuing cultural relativism.
That idea that all cultures are sort of equally valid and shouldn't be judged externally?
Right. She argues that this stance can, maybe unintentionally, end up excusing really oppressive practices. Things like forced hijab, forced marriage, FGM, domestic violence.
So the big question she raises is, do these well-meaning liberal ideas sometimes act like a shield for radical ideologies and fail the very people they might intend to protect?
That's the core of it. It's a challenging question. It definitely makes you think about the practical impact of these ideals.
Okay, so that's a heavy critique. How does she suggest society navigate this? How do you respect culture and uphold universal human rights? Especially without, falling into the trap of Islamophobia, which is a serious concern.
Yeah, and she addresses that directly. She's really urging Western society to draw a line, basically, to say cultural respect is important, but it should never override fundamental individual freedom and dignity. She calls for liberals, specifically, to do some serious self-reflection and to actively support reformers within Muslim communities.
So support from the inside out.
Exactly, and she tackles the Islamophobia label head-on. She argues it's sometimes used, kind of weaponized, to shut down legitimate criticism of harmful religious practices. She believes you have to talk about these things openly to make progress and protect people.
It sounds like the book itself is incredibly direct. Raw, even.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't shy away from the details of child abuse, of the extremist indoctrination she experienced. It's tough reading.
There's that quote you mentioned earlier, if you are caged long enough, freedom feels weird, unfamiliar, and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That really captures it, doesn't it?
It really does. It speaks volumes about the psychological impact. And, the book hasn't gone unnoticed. People like Ayaan Hirsi Ali, Richard Dawkins, they've praised its courage.
What did they say specifically?
They called it things like an eye-opening portrayal of the reality behind closed doors and incredibly informative, highlighting how it reveals experiences that are often hidden or, frankly, misunderstood in the West.
So wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for you, the listener? Unveiled feels like two things at once. It's this deeply personal story of escape.
And it's also a pretty potent political statement. Connecting it to the bigger picture, Mohammed's story is a direct challenge to what she sees as a kind of moral failure of cultural relativism when it comes to oppression, particularly within immigrant communities.
Right. It pushes you to think again about how a genuine desire for diversity and respect can sometimes, maybe, mask indifference to basic human rights that should be universal.
It's a complex balancing act.
It really is. So the question we leave you with is this: how do we collectively navigate that difficult space between respecting cultural differences and holding firm on the commitment to individual freedom and dignity for absolutely everyone. Something to think about.
Grab Unveiled, How Western Liberals Empower Radical Islam by Yasmine Mohammed. Now on sale for $20.95. Don't miss this chance to build good habit and achieve remarkable results. Buy now today.
Like and subscribe for more Bookhaven podcasts.